Hey, Cora here, welcome to my channel. We are going to review Saturday night's main event, which is John Cena's last match. Now, before we get into the review, before I talk about it, I've got a lot to say. There was rumors going around that John Cena was going to have the first match, and everybody's thinking, why would you do that? The crowd's going to be quiet the rest of the night. Some people are probably going to leave because that's why they went there. But luckily, this night, they made the right decision, at least with that. Now, what they were saying is John Cena wanted his last match to be on a night dedicated to people who are up and coming and give them the experience of what is to come for them. I will be not only grading the matches with 5 stars or less, but I will also be grading whether that up-and-comer is ready or not. Because a lot of NXT people are not ready to come up. My history with NXT is I don't get the channel that it's on here, and every time it's on, I don't think about it. So I don't get to watch it very much. But adding on to that, I also am going to add some of my scam baiting characters input just to see how they would feel about it. But on to the review. The first match was Cody Rhodes versus Obafemi, and each match seemed to have some kind of tribute to John Cena. And this one, Obafemi had said to him, "My time is now." Now, this match started out slow. It felt like a lot of matches started out slow tonight, or at least this one started it all. You know what I mean. You could tell Oba has some talent in him, and he will eventually be ready to move up. It's just not his time yet. There was a point where Oba jumped out at Cody while he was on the table, and eventually Cody started bleeding at some point. In my opinion, I was ready for that table to crash. No, it didn't happen. But we'll see what happens to that table later, if that was the right table. Anyways, but I wanted to see tables break. But this was a disappointment because this match ended in disqualification because we had Drew McIntyre just come along and start attacking Cody. So Cody won by disqualification. My opinion on that was it's good to have the story move on, but in a night like this where somebody's finally getting their shot in the spotlight that they haven't had yet, I don't think it was a good idea. Maybe he should have attacked him on Friday. I don't know, but it wasn't the right call. But in the end, both of them end up using their finishers on Drew, so that was a little entertaining. And Cody ended up raising Oba's hand. So that's how that match ended. With that match, I gave it, at the time, 3 stars. It could have been better, especially without the disqualification. Maybe if the match would have ended and then Drew came out, it might have been better. Oba does need a little bit of work, so with him, if I were to grade it, so we're going to use the United States grading system. So for all of you that don't know, it's A as in the greatest, and then it's B, C, D, and then you skip E, and then it's F for fail. So with Oba, I would probably give him a C+. So he's not ready yet, but he's gonna be on his way. So moving on to the next match. I was actually looking forward to this match. I have only seen Sol Ruca wrestle once, and she impressed me. So this was Bayley versus Sol Ruca. So then we have Bayley come out with Lyra Valkyria, and then Sol Ruca comes out with, please forgive me if I pronounce her name wrong because it's going to take me a little bit to learn it, Zaria. Now I'm going to pass this over to my fashion influencer professional, I guess you could say, opinion from Isabel. So Isabel, what do you think of the women's outfits and how they did?
Hey girl, so Lyra, we're gonna start with you, okay? You look like you wore pajamas to the ring. Like, cute dress and all, but you need more accessories, girl, okay? More accessories, you're a beautiful girl, okay? And then we have Bayley. She wore like red and black, you know? Like, what's with red and black?
Oh, I loved Bayley's outfit. It had this Harley Quinn vibe, so I really liked it.
Oh, well, you're not wrong, Cora, because like it makes sense since she's like in DC and Harley Quinn is like a DC character, so I guess it makes sense. Now, Sol Ruca, I guess she's like a surfer girl. Girl, you're from Hawaii. Like, I wish I could get to Hawaii right now and like enjoy the sun and the heat, you know? Girl, you are awesome. And then the last one is the other girl. She reminds me of like, what's her name? Oh, that's right. Luna Vachon. Luna Vachon. It's Luna Vachon. She reminds me of her, which is not bad. So Girls, you looking great. Okay, girls. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Isabel. Before we go, one more question. What's your thoughts on the John Cena versus Gunther match?
Alright, so John Cena versus Gunther, it should have not happened, right? It should have been John Cena versus Randy Orton. Like, Randy Orton would have made that match, like, so much better. Back to you.
Randy Orton. Yeah, I figured. Okay, thank you, Isabel. Now, with this match, I said I was looking forward to, and it did not disappoint. I felt like maybe once or twice there might have been a slip up on either Sol Ruka or Bailey's side, but they didn't really make it look too known. Now, Sol Ruka, she's very, very, very talented. Very talented. I actually cannot wait till she's on the main roster so I don't miss a match of hers. You can tell she's very flexible and gymnastic-y, but she ended up winning and getting the pin by doing her finisher move called a soul snatcher. It was actually pretty cool. So this was the biggest win of her career, and after this match they both gave a salute to John Cena. This match, I out of 5 stars gave it 4. It was very impressive. With Sol, she's very well on her way to being in the main roster very soon, and I don't see her going to SmackDown. I see her going to Raw. So with her, I would give her an A-. She's almost there to being in the main roster, and I see her as the future of the women's division, and I look forward to her improving and doing more and being there. So good luck, Sol. Moving on to the tag team match, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Leon Slater and Javon Evans. Now I'm going to grade the new tag team as a team and as separate. But on to the match. In my opinion, AJ and Dragon Lee should probably be called the Phenomenal AJ Lee, as a play on to AJ Lee, but making sure you don't confuse her with them because you have Phenomenal in there. But I might just call him the Phenomenal AJ Lee because it just makes sense to me. And it's an honor to AJ, in my opinion. Now, starting the match, Javon just feels stiff. He looks stiff. I don't know if it's just he's not comfortable with his height, with the stuff he does. He seems like he can do it. It's just stiff. He needs to loosen up a little. This match was actually not bad. They did perform very well. It seems like AJ was trying to get them into the Styles Clash a couple times. I don't remember what it was. I think it might have been Leon, and he didn't connect right away when he should have. AJ and Dragon Lee have won by the Styles Clash. I would have gave this match probably 3 stars, because like as a tag team, Javon and Leon still have some work. As a tag team, I'd probably give them a C. Now, as individuals, Leon, I'd give him a B. He's actually pretty well. He still needs some work. And then with Javon, I would probably give him a C-. I feel like he still needs a lot of work. He just needs some work. That's what he's in NXT for, and that's what they will work on. We then get to Stephanie McMahon talking with the announcer guy. I can't remember his name right now. And she's about ready to say awesome, and they get interrupted by The Miz. The Miz comes out, how he should have been going against John Cena because he's beat him before. And then R-Truth comes out, which, you know, John Cena was his childhood hero, even though R-Truth is older than him. But anyways, it's a funny gimmick. It is then that R-Truth reveals that Miz had messed with Adam Pearce's balls, play on words, and mixed up the names and put his name in instead of other people's names. So Joe Hendry got screwed over out of the tournament. So Joe Hendry comes out, did a couple moves. I think this would have been better as an actual match. It wasn't, so can't really grade something that's not really a match. Like, it needed to be a real match. But anyways, moving on, we are getting down to the last match. John Cena, his final match versus Gunther. But before we get into the details of this review, I wanted to ask my expert complainer, Ivana. Ivana, how do you feel this tournament went with Gunther, and do you think he should have won? And go ahead, girl. Let it go. Alright, here we go. I have my bait, but I don't know where it's at right now, so we're going to do this without destruction, hopefully. Who decided Gunther is perfect to go against John Cena? He's slow, he's not that great.
I would have picked LA Knight, okay? Because LA Knight is their rhythm and their energy. LA Knight is where it's at. You can disagree with me. You could put in the comments who you would have chose, but I would have chosen LA Knight. This was a disgrace. I'm going to go to TKO headquarters. I won't take back because that is threatening, but I'm going to have a nice talk with them because that is ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. Who decided that? That's so stupid. And then they wonder why the crowd not happy. That's so stupid. Who's stupid enough to pick that? Why would you do that? That was so lame. That was the stupidest thing ever. Like, what the heck? The ending was stupid. It sucked. Like, I wait forever for somebody to finally make actual movies instead of trying to joke him. That was so stupid. What were they thinking? That was horrible. That was almost worst match ever seen in my entire life. If I was in that crowd, I would throw apples and bananas and I would throw very inappropriate things that I have. That was so stupid. Like, who make a different ending? That's so stupid. Like, somebody need to be fired. This is ridiculous. I'm out.
Thank you, Ivana. Now on to the final John Cena match. Before this match started, they shared the video tribute that they had posted on YouTube. And so, in honor of that, I would ask my characters, send me something about John Cena and let's make this video. Here's their video.
Thank you, John Cena, for all the entertainment and for being so hot. Oh, thank you, John Cena, for scaring me the past 20 some odd years. I know we've been bros since, like, you come from the North Pole every, like, year.
John Cena, thank you so much for the entertainment, honey. You can come to my place anytime. The girls will love and enjoy you if you're into that kind of stuff. Anything you want, hon. Thank you for all your years.
And you bring me presents, and I am so happy for that, you know? I remember the first time when I brought you cookies and milk, and you were like, ho 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 and stuff, and then I woke up the next morning and there were presents under the tree from you.
Keep it entertaining us today. It was nice working with you. Well, seeing you. I wanna work with you. Thanks.
And then when I moved out of my parents' house, you know, I don't know what happened, why we not bros anymore, bro, but thank you for being a bro. Just don't call me bro, okay, bro?
Thank you, John Cena, for your entertainment. I remember when I was governor of Alaska, that you were, wrestling, and it was very entertaining, so thank you.
This author is going to miss you dearly, Cena. Thank you for the entertainment.
Cena, even though your last match horrible, thank you for entertainment. If you need anything, I have bit. Okay, bit if you need help. But thank you for the entertainment. Thank you for being awesome. I can't see you, but you can see me when I'm sleeping, and you know when I'm awake, and you know if I've been bad or good, so I've been a good boy this year, okay? So please bring me lots of presents. You're amazing. Thank you for 20 years of fear. Thank you, Cena, for not only the entertainment, but for having a nice spot. It's been nice to look at this past 20 some odd years, over 20 years. Thank you so much, Cena. And somebody please tell my son he's not Santa.
Thank you, Cena, for the entertainment. When I first started watching you, my friend had just passed away. So with your wrestling and with James and Trish Stratus and everybody who was active at the time, you helped me through it. Thank you so much. We'll miss you. Now back to the match. John Cena entering. I know they wanted to build up the crowd. When you're waiting at home, it's too long. That's annoying. Don't do that anymore, WWE. That's really annoying. I don't want to sit here and wait on my couch 5 minutes for a theme song to start. Finally, John Cena had come in. He had this big entrance. He had TVs going around of pictures of faces of him and stuff, and it was all lighty and stuff. It felt very classic with Lillian Garcia there, and they had her a little mic to where she can do like a main event announcement like they used to, and the announcement was great. Good job, Lillian, 5 stars. But back to the match. This match was slow. It started out slow, it felt slow, and I think I know who was to blame. In my opinion, it was Gunther. The person that does the censoring for the bad words needs to be fired because they can't do it. Because people were chanting F you Gunther, and they would bleep every word but the F word. Then people started calling eventually later Gunther an a-hole, and it felt like the person who was doing the censoring gave up. So whoever's doing the censoring probably needs to find a different job because you can't do it. I get missing the first two, but when you're hitting in the wrong spots, aren't you supposed to know how to do that? I don't know how to do that, so I don't qualify for the job, but are you qualified? Anyways, so finally John Cena gets some moves in after a slow start, and he ends up doing the attitude adjustment a few times, and Gunther tries getting him in the submission hold and doing some moves. Eventually, John Cena finally went and did the attitude adjustment to Gunther on the table, and it finally broke. That was what I was waiting for the whole night, was for that table to break. And it finally did, so I was happy. I also feel like during this match, Gunther spent too much time trying to get John Cena to submit. It's just boring sitting there, watching somebody trying to hold him in submission to make him, like, tap out. Like, we want more moves than that. It's boring just sitting there, just, like, watching you just squeeze him, and then he moves. And then you squeeze him, and then he moves. And you squeeze him. That was not entertaining. That was horrible. In the end, people were pissed. I was pissed. Gunther won by submission. People were pissed. There wasn't a lot of booing, but there wasn't cheering. People were shocked and pissed. And then we finally have the censors in for Bull S. And my husband's word for this match was lackluster. It could have been so much better. Honestly, I think it would have been somebody else, like LA Knight. It would have been more entertaining. It's just Gunther, he's too slow. I think that's what the main problem might be. Is so maybe if Gunther, or you ever see this, which you probably won't, work on being that bigger guy that does more moves. That's what John Cena did in the past. It's just, he was slow. I know he's improved as a person, especially his weight loss and stuff, but that sucked. That match sucked. So this match out of 5 stars, I would give it a 2. It was a pretty bad match. It was horrible. The ending was horrible. It was just horrible. I was waiting for Chris Jericho to show up, but he didn't. I figured that was not going to happen. Afterwards, they had brought Triple H and everybody out, and people were booing Triple H. But here, this is my opinion, and I could be wrong, and you can tell me what you think down in the comments. I think Triple H is taking the blame for somebody up in TKO who wants stuff to be done this way. I don't think it's Triple H doing it. I don't think Paul is doing this. Because when Paul first took over creative, when they dumped Vince, it was pretty good. I think that somebody in TKO is hovering over him, and that's why the creative and the product is as bad as it is. But TKO, this is a message to you. You keep going down this road, you keep making a horrible product, you're gonna lose a ton of money. You already got greedy with selling to ESPN, and by the way, every time I scroll through Facebook and see an ESPN ad, especially with WWE on it, there's more laughs and angries than there is likes. It's a joke, and people find it as a joke. Now, I paid for Peacock for this. I'm going to go to our financial expert, Gladys. So Gladys, your opinion, was it worth the $11 a month for this?
Okay, so for about $11, I don't even know if that was worth it. It might be worth what you paid, which is $3.
Okay, so that is my opinion. WWE do better. Thank you for watching. If you like this video at any time, please like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell to know when I go live. I usually post videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays, I plan on going over Cena's first and last match. That's going to be interesting, especially after this night. I have never seen his first match, so this is going to be very interesting. So, until next time, bye!
La